Greetings, Flow Jedis, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today, we're going to be speaking all about spiritual boredom, okay? When you hit that state internally where you feel numb, where you just feel like I've gone through my spiritual activations, I've done all the things, why am I not reaping the rewards? You see, karma has its own timeline, its own realm that it works with through three different layers, okay? We cannot be the ones who say that it will happen exactly by this time. If you do X, Y, and Z, you will get this result, okay? That's human prediction, that's human ego error at times. We actually create our own limits, right? Towards our own mind. So let me first of all change some of these settings around. Alrighty. Edit settings. No, it's not made for kids, so 18 and older, please, unless you have a guardian nearby. All right, so let's get started with today's topic. I'm going to share this with the tribe first. Die, na 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 na. I, na 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 na. I. It's saying playing music. Okay. All right, let's go. So I am live. So spiritual boredom ain't a curse. It's a call to align, not to whine. Okay. There are a lot of people in the spiritual communities that just are whiners. Okay. I'm going to be very honest and very upfront with you guys. Okay. I hope y'all are ready because Uncle Makra ain't here to sugarcoat your spiritual constipation, okay? I'm here to slap the pain body out of your aura and remind you that you're a walking generator of divine voltage, not some leaking battery for the Matrix to plug into. Okay, you're a Vajramax initiate. That means your energy is being jacked, not by some government conspiracy or Illuminati lizards, but by the most dangerous thing in your own world, your untrained mind. That golden, radiant, God source energy that's supposed to be fueling your kingdom, your genius, your libido, your muscle, your voice, your magnetic pull. It's being funneled into overthinking, which is underfeeling, and emotional junk loops every single time. So if you dwell on the past, that's energy lost. You spiral into comparison, that's energy lost. You gossip, that's energy lost. You doom scroll, that's energy lost. You rage text your ex, that's energy lost, right? Congratulations, you just fed your pain body like a damn buffet, right? Of all these different kinds of exotic meals. And now it has more fuel to actually do its work, right? Because you've been feeding it. So this is what I want to really point it out. Time delay. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a difference in the time zone switches. Yeah. Samba, what's good? All right, we're tapped in. Okay, so the pain body is real. It's not just some Eckhart Tolle concept, right? I fail to understand why people just associate it with Eckhart. Like this is like a parasitic echo living in your own nervous system, right? Like a glitch demon that feeds on your pain like it's filet mignon, and it doesn't care about your goals, bro. It wants your sacred essence in suffering mode. And the sad part is you're already giving it what it wants. But here's the good news, my Vajra beasts. You can starve it. You can reclaim the juice. You can Vajramax your life and be unfuckwittable. How? You stop playing defense and you observe without drama. You sit your ass down, you breathe, and you just watch that little pain demon try to throw its tantrum. Don't react. Don't indulge it. Don't try to figure it out. Just breathe like Shiva. Observe like Buddha. And smile like Christ, like you've already won. Okay? And once you figured it out, right? Once you breathe through the acid in your gut, once you breathe through the tight jaw and the broken heart, Once you breathe through the I'm not enough stories, because breath is the remote control to your nervous system, right? And if you haven't got control of your own breath, you're just another actor in a Netflix show written by your trauma, right? Night shift tapped in. Yep. Night shifts, I bet they hit different, man, because like going through the night, you know, you're kind of in that trippy state, trying to stay awake, right? Probably getting symbols, archetypes, all sorts of things coming through. Amazing. It's a time to rewire, man, you know? When you're feeling that way, it's a good time to rewire your subconscious mind. Thank you, brother. Yeah. So the topic was spiritual boredom, so I knew I had to come with some sort of entertainment. Otherwise, so this background kind of helps me at least, or helps us who have a very racing mind to kind of focus on something else, right? Still get the message, but still embrace the visuals. Yeah. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah. Watchmen style. Nice. Watchmen, what a great movie. Interesting one. Have to revisit that one, especially the Rorschach character. Interesting, man. Let me tell it to you raw, okay? Your trauma is not your fault, but feeding it every day like it's your emotional pet, that's on you. Because you know better, because you've seen Uncle Makara. Now you see the map. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit like a king or a queen. You're going to watch the storm and reclaim the lightning, right? That's Fudge maxing. You get your energy back. Welcome to the path. And if your pain body still wants to talk shit, so you're not today, parasite. I'm too busy building empires from breath and blessings. Okay? You just respond back to it. And if you actually look at Bashar's teachings on purpose, it's actually going to help you boil down your own code, right? So he says basically that the purpose is to be you. It's not some version that your parents wanted, not what society wanted, not even your past self, right? Just your truest, most lit up you as fully as possible. That's the only real job, right? All the pain comes from trying to be someone that you're not. The easiest thing is to be yourself, right? And then just stack on it, right? You're leaning into your edge. So you follow your highest excitement. That's the guiding GPS from your higher mind. It's the organizing principle, right? The flow state, the signal from source. So you act on your excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a specific outcome. That's the Bashar formula, right? Acting on your excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a specific outcome. So drop the outcome and trust the current, right? The physical mind doesn't know what's best for you. It can only imagine based on your past data. Your higher self, though, it sees the full map. It's full imagination, right? So your job is to just ride the wave, not control the ocean, right? So surrender isn't about giving up control. It's about surrendering to the control that's inbuilt. Okay, were you getting this? So synchronicity is the proof. If you follow this formula of Bashar, you'll notice that synchronicities will start to rearrange in your life the right people, the opportunities, right? The right challenges, the right healing that you need will naturally show up for you, right? Because your current self, it's funny you said the current self, like the sea, the current, right? So the current knows where you need to go. Just follow the flow and you'll arrive exactly where you need to be when you need to be there, with who you need to be there with. So you've been trained to believe that you're not enough, and fear-based beliefs are the virus, man. Those beliefs aren't you, they're baggage. They make abundance feel unreachable, even though you're surrounded by it. So you don't need to learn to be abundant. You already are. You just need to learn what to be abundant in. So if you're not living your truth, then you're actually wasting your uniqueness because you have a unique fingerprint, a blueprint that you were here to leave behind, right? You're a once in existence cosmic event, man. You're a fingerprint of the divine. So no one will ever have the exact same vibe again. Damn. You are the only one of your kind. You are what gives life meaning. So the game is rigged in your favor once you stop resisting this life. So authenticity will unlock your creativity, support, abundance, and alignment because the universe will never contradict your frequency. It'll always reflect what you say is true about you. So creation supports you unconditionally in being who you say you are. So who are you? Say it wisely. Choose who you are. I'm not saying like, who am I? And then you go on a philosophical tangent. I'm saying, who am I? Then live it. Your purpose is to be fully unapologetically electrically you. So follow that joy and drop that outcome because then the synchronicity can handle the rest. Everything else is just resistance. Okay. So once you think that you're one of those guys that have like cracked the matrix open, you know, stop. Mathis says, stop unconscious drama feeding. Now observe without drama. Don't let outside demonstrations change your inside conversations. Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. I had to really sit with that to let that sink in. I hope you guys sit with that too. You cracked the matrix, right? If you're one of those guys who thinks I've cracked the matrix and now you're mad nothing excites you. Of course nothing excites you. You saw behind the curtain. You saw the Wizard of Oz was a hologram, right? You tasted the void and now your dopamine doesn't give a fuck about your hobbies, your productivity hacks, or even your spiritual to-do list. Good. But this isn't depression. This is detox. You're going through ego withdrawal. Okay. You're going through ego withdrawal symptoms. You're grieving a false self that used to get off on pretending to be somebody. You're not broken. You're too awake to be addicted to the old game. Let me make it real simple for you, real raw. After awakening, you don't stop moving. You stop moving for bullshit. Your system isn't lazy. It's just done with fake purpose. It wants the realness again. So what do you do when motivation dies? You let aliveness choose. If a whisper comes through, inspiration, cook, paint, walk, roar like a lion, move, right? Not because it means anything, but because it moves you. You see, the working mind, the flow state mind, don't care about your enlightenment. It only cares about being absorbed in what is. And if you think that's purposeless, then good news, you've just lost your addiction to the illusion of linear meaning. And now you're ready to create from emptiness. You see, the ego dies loud. It whines, what's the point? It's a death cry. Don't answer that. Let it fade away like a ringtone from a past life. The mind will say, this is meaningless. You say back to it, good. Now I'm free to create without agenda, right? You will feel raw, bored, empty, even irritated on this journey. Just sit in that fire and the furnace will start forging your real will. Trying to distract yourself will backfire. Trying to fix yourself will backfire. But witnessing yourself, that'll wake you up from the second sleep. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, soak the mind in awareness like dirty cloth and soap. That's it. Just sit in the fire, watch your boredom burn, right? Don't flinch, don't scroll. Let it melt into the one who watches, because from that silence, the working mind is born. The artist, the craftsman, the beast, the bodhisattva, the barbie-sattva. That's the real you, not the anxious overthinker, right? Stuck between, should I meditate? Should I make money? I don't know. Maybe I should do this. I'm not really sure. You will know what to do when your presence grows stronger than your panic. This is how I overcame my anxiety. My presence started to overtake the panic that was within the system because I kept observing it. I'm gonna read 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna read something. I'll see if I can find it in my notes, okay? Okay, not this. Helping someone with astral travel, not this. Hmm, can't seem to find it. All right. When I find it, I'll share it with the adepts, okay? So what to do when your presence grows stronger than your panic? You'll know what to do, right? So the ones who rise after awakening aren't the ones who figured it out. There's the ones who kept flowing anyway, even when the current felt still. So if you want to live again, don't chase life, channel life. You're not here to fix the world. You're here to flood it with your own presence. Welcome to the Flow Dojo, right? This is what we do here, okay? This is why soul help is way important than self-help, right? Self-help is for NPCs. Soul help is where it's at, right? Chop wood, carry water, metaphor, discipline all the way. Money Moon Monday today. If unsure or anxious, slow down time at half speed. That's great advice. Just slow it all down. This is also why I take Mondays off. People don't understand why I do that. I take Mondays off and I work on Sundays, right? So today's really a day that I give myself to fully integrate. So the thing is, a lot of us want the end result so bad, right? But I've noticed that the divine feminine is more than just, that radiance or that femininity, right? That we see so much of in culture. It is actually the Shakti that moves through all things, right? So observing it like that, and then observing the divine masculine that I think is bored of holding space. It's time that the masculine start learning about building empires, right? Actually, like most light workers are just cosplaying calmness, right? They're not actually embodied in their own calmness. They're activating it through their practices for sure. But stop treating your body like a dumping ground when it's your altar, where it's your temple, right? Where you go to pray. It's funny how we call this the temples, right? So this is where you should go to pray. Okay. Hey there, babe. All right. So before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, right? And so if you really want to understand, there's something that my father said actually a day ago in the meditation class, the study class I go to. Said everything transforms in the Pure Land through belief and imagination, just like a child understand magic of the imagination. That is what Vajrayana needs to do as well, right? In a sense. I found that amazing and I found that very relevant to what we're doing here on this channel, which is to really seal in our focus towards what we're trying to create, right? Being intentional about our creations, because the more we can observe something, right? The more I think all right, just check. Yes, I found it, guys. Awesome. So check it out. And the physics nerds will love this one. Some folks get real uncomfortable with the idea that consciousness might be running the show. So they cling to the line, electrons don't know that they're being watched. Like it's a mic drop. But that take is missing a cosmic baseline. They act like reality is just sitting there, right? Dumb and mechanical until we poke it with a photon. But here's the real kicker. Why does the mere possibility of observation collapse a wave into a particle? Okay, you guys have heard of the double slit experiment, yes? This is what I'm referring to here. Why does uncertainty snap to the clarity of the moment awareness steps into the room? That's not a bug in the system. That's the signature of a conscious cosmos. Ooh, I'm getting chills reading this. Wave particle duality isn't just lab coat sorcery. It's a veil between realms. It's a reminder that reality responds, not just reacts. Walter Russell didn't say, stuff moves. He said, all motion is mind, thought in action. The electron doesn't collapse because it's startled by your measuring stick. It collapses because the field knows you're watching, not because it's magic, but because it's conscious. So no. It's not just physics. It's physics whispering metaphysics. Woo! Okay, this is what I wrote. And I noticed after I wrote it, something shifted within me. It's probably that I was tuning into Sire Osmosis's energy as I'd finished that drawing. And also shout out TXL who made some really cool trippy art from that. And it looks like a clay figurine almost in a sense. TXL, I'm just going to shout you out. I'm going to just share it, okay, to the audience. Okay. All right. So this is really, really powerful because immediately, I mean, I'm thinking about the 3D printing stuff, right, to Excel. So my mind is just immediately going there. Like, what if we made our deities into little figurines that, you know, it'd be like a collection. It'd be an interesting idea, at least. We'll think about it. We'll think about it at some point. Okay. But yeah, Jung calls these hidden parts of ourselves subpersonalities. Okay. So I'm going to end this soon, guys. Okay. So any questions, just type them up right now. Anything you'd like me to cover here on today's stream? Okay. All right. So Jung, okay. So Jung had this kind of entire psychic ecosystem. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's not just the shadow work or the archetypes. This guy saw this dynamic constellation of selves, right? Of what he called complexes or autonomous psychic fragments. These aren't bad or fake versions of us, they're just energetic echoes of our experience. So think of them as internal actors that are playing roles that are based on old scripts. You know how sometimes a past version of you takes over, right? So here are some core understandings of the concepts. Number one is the persona or the social mask. This is the version of you that smiles at dinner while secretly wanting to leave, right? So it's a necessary role in that moment, but it's often confused with a real self. Oh, they're very attentive. Yeah, they're a good person, right? When they're seething inside, right? So that's the persona way to understand it, right? It's the version you're showing to others. The next we have the shadow, all your rejected parts. So the wild, the ugly, the divine you were told not to be, right? All of those parts. The inner critic, the addict, the saboteur, the okay, violin player, whatever, right? They're all archetypes. They're split like this. Then we have the anima and the animus, the feminine within a man or the masculine within a woman. Okay, some believe that we have each of those qualities within ourselves too, but also, of course, shaped through emotional tone, culture, dreams, romantic obsessions, but also undeveloped. They show up as inner lovers or jealous ghosts or unattainable muses at times. So the ones, this one's really big in terms of depth work is the inner child. It's not just it's not that tender, pure, often wounded essence. It's the subpersonality, which might be the scared child, another the rebellious teen, another the magical dreamer, right? And there's many other childhood archetypes. So The self with the capital S is the goal of individuation. It's not to kill off the subpersonalities, but to integrate them back under a higher harmony. So the self isn't a mask, it's a conductor of the orchestra. So he viewed these subpersonalities not as mental illness, but as fragments of the psyche. I think this is really important to understand because then each fragment holds a lesson, a story, or a shadow that wants to return home back to God wholeness again, right? So healing isn't about deleting them, it's about giving them voice, listening to them, and then weaving them back into the story properly, right? So it's alchemy, it's turning inner chaos into conscious choice. That is actually what individuation truly means, right? And we've like changed the definitions or added our own like, codes in there to try to add passwords and like gatekeep all this stuff. So we've added our own sort of challenges towards this process because the human mind loves to create obstacles, in front of the way of the result because it excites the mind. Like, I have to solve this puzzle, right? But the mad scientist spiritual ego combined with AI is today's challenge. Yep. Yeah, totally. Because it really can get out of hand, right? If you go experimentation down the depths of the rabbit hole, sometimes you're not even spit back out into the real world again, right? Just some people are just so, sedated or numb, or they're down their path so bad that it's difficult for them to have a normal conversation even, or like just a regular cup of tea. And that's where you really got to learn how to work with your body, mind, spirit complex because it's been yelling and screaming at you to do things, but you've been ignoring it, right? So, egregores, says Mathis, thought self, self-imposed thought loops, dynamics of ego are wisely described in the Course of Miracles, right? Right. There's many resources that we can use. However, I think resourcefulness wins at the end of the day, right? The quality of resourcefulness and also returning back to source, right? Resource, okay? And that's what Primal Sutra stands for, really, right? Is being the resourceful healer. Because I think I want to change the imagery of like a healer being this like weird, wounded, character that's just like living in the shadows and like, what is this, man? Right? A healer is somebody who embodies the after effects of their experience, you know? Like the shift has happened and he was still able to embody the shift even after it happened, right? That's the healing quality, really. It's being able to move with that state of consciousness now. Why do I do the Nagaruda mudra? Nagaruda, the Nagas and the Garudas, right? The lowest self, the highest self. If I merge them through the middle, right, it creates the portal for the nexus of Primal Sutra to work. This is why I do this. Okay. So I'm merging lowest self, highest self, right? The Pataloka, the really underground realms with the heavenly abode of the Garudas. And it's meeting here, they're merging. There's an energy in between them, right? The frequency in between them that I feel. And I breathe that through my body, through my cells, through my DNA, through every single crevice of my body. Just everything is soaked in that essence. And then I can pull in the guidance of the family, which comes in almost like a droplet of rain on my third eye. And then it speaks out of my mouth, right? So sometimes it's a waterfall, other times it's just a dribble, right? So that's the thing. It's what you tap into. Yeah, it's a stream to tap into. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much for tapping in, guys. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Moon day, Monday, Mon I, okay? My I day. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Peace and love. Much love. We got this. You got this. Upward Spiral. Gang, gang, gang. Yeah.